It's already started, man. What up, what up, what up? PFC, we in here giving you a deadline day update. Gonna run through some of the major transfers, some of the baby transfers, and possibly grade the top 6 teams, see how they did this transfer window of summer 2017. I'm here, I'm Tiki, I got Huss with me, and I got Tum with me as well. 3 of us are going to get into a PFC Nation. Let's open it up with a team that started off with a bunch of rumors, were very, very quiet during the summer, and then kind of finished up with a bit of flair. Let's get into Hussey's team, Liverpool. Huss, how'd your team do?
I give them a B-ish. Yeah, probably a B.
Is that a real grade? B-ish?
I was gonna say maybe B plus, but I'm gonna give them a B for what they did because, look, I mean, they kept hold of Coutinho so far because they have till midnight tonight. Which, I mean, I hear Barcelona's gonna come in for one more offer. We don't know exactly what it is. I don't know. I'm sure if it's 150 million euros or pounds, it makes a huge difference. But they did get Salah. They get Solanke that takes over for Origi. They get Andy Robertson, who seems to be pretty good on the left side so far. Then you got Ox, which not only is a decent depth. Yeah, it does.
That hurts.
But it's also from a rival. So that's great for that. But then you also you forget who's left. Lucas Leve. I mean, it was time for him to go. Then you got Origi on loan. And then Sacco. Finally, Sacco's out.
Yeah, dude. Last minute transfer.
Yeah. They need to just cash in on him somehow, some way. They got what, 26 mil for him or so, and then not sure if there's add-ons. But one person I really was hoping that would get the papers was this kid Allen from Brazil, just on loan again. We just can't get him in England.
Yeah, see the trick with getting players those work permits. If you play Football Manager, you'd know sometimes you sign a young 18-year-old from Brazil, and he's going to be the next, star that has star potential, and you can't get him onto your European team. He has to make an international Brazilian appearance. That helps a lot with work permit because basically you have to prove that the player is signing for Brazil. There's no other player with a European passport or a UK passport that can do that job. So getting someone who's on the Brazilian national team, you can justify and say, hey, look, like he's on the Brazilian national team. He's better than most players we have. Okay, we need Allen, even though he's 18. So it's this weird paperwork loophole adjustment. And it kind of helps England, too, to make sure like it's just not being flooded with like 17-year-olds from other countries that actually have to be legit, stars or whatever. So hopefully it does come through. I've heard he's a talent. Obviously, I haven't seen much of him. I've never seen him in a Liverpool jersey. But I'm always for talent in the EPL. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, but the big ones, Virgil van Dijk, did not seem to get a deal done. That hurt because the big gap, the big thing that we've talked about probably for, 7 years now or so, is the back line. And they still have not got a legitimate replacement or legitimate gap stopper. I mean, Virgil van Dijk would have been great. But getting Keita from the Red Bulls in Germany, that was big, but that's for next year. So, and then everything else kind of fell apart when it came down to Renato Sanchez and Kovacic. He could maybe still come in because if Barcelona do come in, get successful with Coutinho, Kovacic from Madrid seems like a pretty good replacement in the middle.
Yeah, he's playing more and more for Real Madrid, Kovacic, and I don't know. I think it's going to be tricky. Maybe if you guys advance in Champions League and you do well, you'll be able to attract a player like that. But for the time being, the way Zidane's got those youngsters playing in Real Madrid, I see him sticking around and trying to break into the first team. I do agree with you with your grade for Liverpool, solid B. You did address the left back issue, but I do think shoring up the middle with another center back like Virgil van Dijk really would have brought you guys over the top, really would have given you guys in that A range.
Yeah, I'm going to give him B minus as well. Actually, I'll give him a B-ish, like Huss did, a B-ish. Yeah, man, they addressed certain positions they needed to. They hold on to Coutinho. by the looks of it. You know, obviously, like I said, La Liga's deadline is September 1st, not August 31st. So things still could go down. But I'm hoping he stays, man. The more talent in the Premier League, the more entertaining it is for us, the better it is as far as content for you guys out there listening. We can provide better content, better depth. So I'm hoping Coutinho stays. I know it's a blasphemous statement coming from a Man United fan, but
Oh, he's leaving. Coutinho's leaving.
You think so?
Huss, just get ready for it, bro. He scored last night against Ecuador in the World Cup qualifiers. It was a beautiful scoop pass he had over to Gabi Jesus. Gabi Jesus returned the favor with a nice little header. He was crying after his goal, man. So it really shows you.
Coutinho?
Just yeah, he scored and he was crying after his goal, and like Neymar spoke about it after. He was like, yeah, he's going, through some ups and downs right now. Even the coach of Brazil, Tite, was like, yeah, we can obviously tell how this transfer saga has been affecting him, but he's a fighter. He keeps going through it, and this is really intense, man. You think, all right, I'm switching countries. I want to go for my dream move. All of a sudden, it breaks down. It doesn't happen. Now you're alienated within your club. You have certain fans who hate you, certain fans who still love you. Like, he's so torn. So I think eventually he'll leave, but Liverpool got a little bit lucky in retaining his services.
They might have dodged the bullet.
Two things real quick. Van Dijk, just touch on that real quick. If Liverpool was able to get Van Dijk, then I think that puts him on the same level as United and City as a favorite for the league.
No way.
Nope.
I think so. Yes,
Nope.
I really do. But right now, they're still slightly below them, but I still think they are a title challenger. And then when it comes down to Coutinho, come down.
That says the Downs right now. It's too early. It's too fucking early.
Yeah. So when it comes down to those one-away players, when it comes down to Mahrez or Coutinho or Van Dijk or Costa, the only one that I give a pass to is Diego Costa, because his coach came to him and said, we don't want you. So now he's gone. But every other player, they should take almost the page from Mahrez's book. Get out there and play. You're under contract. And Sir Alex came out, said he felt for Liverpool. Sir Alex Ferguson came out and said he felt for Liverpool because these players, they're coming out and signing 5-year, 6-year contracts, and then the next year they say they want out.
Dude, I think it's the sign of the times. Payet signed a 5-year and tried to leave 3-4 months into it. It doesn't matter anymore. You can sign
moody, man.
You can't say you're sad and basically cry after a goal because you're that emotional. Don't sign that contract. But maybe
I think
things
part of
the year now. Like, are you kidding me? It could be family situations. If you look at a West Ham, the year before they were on fire, then all of a sudden they're fighting to make top 10. So there's so many circumstances that can change within 2-3 months. I don't think it's as black and white as you're making it. Like, all right, don't sign the contract, dude. It's not that. It's not that obvious.
Speaking of contracts, dude. Speaking of contracts, let's roll right into Tom's team, Arsenal. The man who won't sign a contract, arguably the most popular story of the summer. We're talking about Alexis Sanchez. Arsenal have retained his services and are now in a Mexican standoff, eye to eye. Wenger to Sanchez. No contract signed, but he's staying, so he's probably leaving for a free. He's free to sign contracts or negotiate contracts in January. So you essentially have less than 6 months to make this guy satisfied. Tom?
Bro, this was one of the worst transfer windows I've seen from Arsenal this far. Yes, we retained Alexis Sanchez, but he wanted to leave. Man City put in a formal bid of about 60 million, was rejected. Arsenal in the last second was they put a bid in of 92 million pound, I think 100 million euro, to try to sign Thomas Lemar from Monaco. We've been dilly-dallying all summer trying to get this guy. He rejected the offer. He didn't want to come through. But at the same time, why wait until so late to make a move? We knew Alexis was unhappy. And, with City making this bid, we're looking for a replacement. And really, it's sad to see, man, that Arsenal have brought in two players. I don't even really want to count Kolasinac because he was signed in January.
And he was free.
and he was exactly, it was on a free, on a Bosman. Lacazette, we spent money on. We've gotten rid. Arsenal made profit in this window, guys. You understand that we made 17.8 million in profit this window. Sold Chesney, sold Gibbs, sold Gabriel, Paulista,
Chamberlain.
Oxlade-Chamberlain, who was the biggest chunk of change we made. We sold him to a direct rival as well. The level of ambition that this club is showing is very concerning to all Arsenal fans. And I really think this was a poor transfer window. It was very similar to the year before where we signed Granit Xhaka early, and then everyone gets excited. They say we signed Lacazette early. Everyone's excited, buzzing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing from there.
Without the loans, you sold 9 players, like without considering guys you sent out on loan. So permanent deals, you had 9 sales and 2 purchases. Well, 1 purchase and a free. So, man, and for a squad that finished 5th last year, I was watching Arsenal Fan TV. We try not to post too much of it anymore because it hurts a lot of people's feelings. And I totally get it. If that was my club, I'd be frustrated too every day seeing, posts like that. But the guy was saying literally, like, what has Wenger done to strengthen the squad from 5th? What has he done this window? And sure, you can say picked up Lacazette, but the defense is struggling and you're selling defenders.
We always can score goals. Everyone knows Arsenal can score goals. But can you stop goals from going in the back of the net? And that's the part they didn't address. And teams, honestly, is in shambles. Mustafi reportedly wanted to be sold. We kept him around. But, like, everyone's attitude seems to be they either want to go or they're fighting amongst each other. Apparently, the dressing room got into a squabble. Ramsey at Liverpool. Sides are splitting. Some people want Alexis out. They'd be happy if he leaves. Ramsey writing cheeky little notes to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Chamberlain obviously moved to Liverpool, and he just congratulated him on his move, which, like, all right, that's professional. Like, they do that. But at the bottom of it, he wrote #shambles.
Whoa.
So that seems to be like a little bit of an inside joke that's going on right now. Maybe within the dressing room. It just shows you that they're in dire straits, man.
The shambles, they said that was a nickname that Czech, I believe it was Czech, gave to Ox. So they used to call him Shambles.
Okay.
So there's a little hidden message there, maybe, but
I don't know if it's double meaning or not.
It's a little double entendre.
He did finally delete that.
See, the point that the fact that he deleted it means there might have been something there, and maybe that nickname for Ox is a cover for Czech trying to bail Ramsey out of a sticky situation, or maybe not. But I don't know. I feel like if that's his nickname, why have we not heard the Shambles nickname? He's been at Arsenal for 6 years, and 2, why is he deleting posts?
Everyone calls him the Ox. You know what I mean? So at least that's his nickname to the fans. I know players obviously have conversations that we're not privy to, but it's a very concerning thing at Arsenal. It's more of the same. And honestly, I do not believe we're going to make Champions League again. I think we're going to finish in 6th place this year now, potentially 5th place again. But I think Arsenal's going to take a step down with the Europa schedule, with the current environment and mood in the locker room. We know Wenger usually finishes strong. We may make FA Cup semifinals, go for another run like that. We may make Europa League finals. But I do not think the squad has the quality, and they don't have the mentality, more importantly, to go forward.
Well, if Sanchez went through and you did get Lamar, I don't know if he finished in 6th. You might actually finish it less than that. You might finish in 7th or 8th, because I don't know if Lamar can take this team on his back like Sanchez did last year. Because it took one of the best players. It took one of the best players in the world and maybe the best player in the whole league to keep you in 6th place.
I agree with you, Huss, but is he going to be the same Sanchez as he was last year? You look at his body language. He started against Liverpool, and maybe it was because Lacazette wasn't starting next to him. Whatever it was, I know he's a professional, but this thing is going to be bothering him. He has to be fuming. He handed in a transfer request, so he has to be mad that Arsenal did not find a way to get him out of the club. There's going to be some sort of resentment, I think, that's going to continue throughout the season, especially with players reportedly wanting him out.
Yeah, it's gonna get ugly at Arsenal, and unfortunately, your manager is not charismatic enough anymore. Or doesn't hold the same kind of weight as far as his power or the weight behind his words. He's just, he's missed out on success too long. A lot of the players just aren't buying into his message anymore, and he's a legendary manager, man. There's no denying what he's achieved. So I want to say that, that this guy is still a fantastic manager. I think if he moved to another club, that club would find success. I think the problem at Arsenal is that people are just tired of hearing the same message over and over and over.
It's not only
But it's
that,
also the
though,
owner, man.
but
It's the owner. Sorry, Huck.
it's bad transfers because when it comes down to it, I mean, if the Mustafi went in, I mean, Inter was going for Mustafi, but it fell through because they wanted a 4.6 million pound loan fee, and then next year they wanted the option to buy for 23 million. That's really cheap for Mustafi. Now, if Inter comes in with more money, Mustafi gets sold, and not only that, you sell Gabriel, and then Gibbs, and now Ox, and then it's like your defense is hurting right now, and you sell defense.
Yeah, and you're not buying any. The last person that we're linked with was a winger, Thomas Lamar.
Yeah,
You weren't linked
You're
with
trying to
any
make
defenders
sense of
this
this?
window.
Don't. This Arsenal team makes no sense. We saw it when the lineup against Liverpool. You're 50 million, your record signing. He's on the bench in the biggest game. Kolasinac, a natural left wing back, he's on the bench. Instead, you opt to start Oxlade-Chamberlain, who ends up leaving you, and you put Bellerin on the left side. So this club makes no sense right now. Gazidis went on this whole catalyst for change thing, and I think it has to do more so with the owner, Stan Kroenke. I think there's beef, a little bit of drama between Gazidis and Wenger, with Wenger mocking a sporting director last year. I think it's a whole mess, and really, we should just move on.
What do you give him
We
for a
cannot
grade?
sort this out. I'll give Arsenal a D, just above an F. Just above an F, because we did bring in Alexander Lacazette, but at the same time, we did not move forward. We just did not fail.
I'm going to give him an F, simply for the fact that you did not improve the team enough to get yourself out of fifth, justifiably. Now, like you said, Arsenal's capable of making runs, so they might finish above fifth. But on paper and as far as chemistry, they did not do anything to improve this team. Yeah, Lacazette came in, but you got an upset Sanchez, so maybe Lacazette will make up for Sanchez's numbers, but you don't have a happy Sanchez. I think it's an F, man. And you knew Sanchez wanted to leave since the beginning of the summer. Could have made this happen.
I'll give them a C minus. They did keep Sanchez, but he's the type of player that I think will just play through whatever. They did keep Mustafi, even though maybe it wasn't by choice, but they do have enough with Lacazette coming in to make a sort of a run at Europa. So hopefully that's good. But someone that I actually feel for is Campbell, getting sent out on his sixth, not third or second, sixth alone.
Talk about destroying careers, Tom.
Right.
That is, man. And I don't understand Wenger. I just don't understand. He got sent out on loan to Real Betis. He's eventually, I think, going to end up in La Liga, playing somewhere in Spain. And look, man, I think someone needs to give Wenger a dirty Sanchez or something.
Well, I mean, Campbell is out of contract at the end of the year.
Fair enough.
And you sent him on loan. Nice.
Speaking of
Get out of our club.
We don't like you anymore.
Speaking of dirty Sanchez, let's get into Tottenham, who made a signing, the Ajax young center back coming through for them. They've made a gang of signings the last 2 weeks. Pochettino said he wanted to make 4 signings. They got, I think, the biggest one in Aurier. I mean, a guy who's been on the big stage. He's played for PSG. Sure, he has locker room issues, and we can get into those. But, man, to bring in a big name like that, a guy with pedigree, a guy who can actually ball, even though he's fallen out of the pecking order at PSG, he can still play.
Yeah, with him, it's been more so off-field issues with Serge Aurier. Everyone knows he's a very talented player. Very, very, still has a lot of potential. I think he's a perfect replacement for Kyle Walker. I know your boy Trippier. I know you were talking all that mess, but I do not think he's an adequate replacement for Kyle Walker. He may develop as he gets older, but right now for this specific season, with the amount of competition in the EPL, you need a guy like Aurier who can be, just I think play at a higher level. And we'll see how he does when he comes into the team. But more on Spurs. Bringing in Fernando Llorente, I think that was a quality signing,
massive,
especially for the amount that they brought him in. Really, under this climate.
What was the amount? Sorry, man.
Let me see right here.
Oh, my bad. I thought you had it.
No, it's saying like 13 mil.
Cool. Wow, that's a steal.
13? Yeah. So 13 to bring him in from Swansea.
That's
that is a deal, right? Yeah, it's right. So maybe potentially with add-ons around 15 to 17, but that to me that's a quality signing. I know Chelsea was looking at him, but I'm quite honestly glad he didn't go to Chelsea because it would have hurt my boy Mitsubishi.
Yeah, true.
And you know what, Tottenham, everyone knows that their midfield is good, but they hit pretty much their points. They need a right back. They got a right back. The center backs, they seem to be unhappy in Alderweireld or Vertonghen. One of them will probably, Vertonghen. One of them.
That guy, you just like to try slide by that one.
We get the first letter and the last letter right, and just kind of mumble through.
No, I think they got Sanchez because of depth, man. Like we were saying on PFC, I think 179 on the podcast, that Vertonghen tends to go down for chunks of the season. Alderweireld is better, but even he last year went through some injury spells. So then they sold Wimmer, who's not about this life, which I'm very happy they did. So they knew they needed
I called him. I was like, yeah, Wimmer's going to start. Pick him up in fantasy.
Yeah, dude. I was like, dog. He was awful during preseason. I think he played in the first game, and they were trying a 3 at the back, first to second game, and he was just getting burned every time. So he was not about this clean sheet life, so they got rid of him. But what do they do, man? They bring in 2 center backs, dude. They bring in Davinson Sanchez and Juan Foyth, who's a bit of a risk. He was playing in Argentina. So, like, they know the depth is there. They have the best defense for 2 years, and they still buy more defenders, man. I think Tottenham, I'm going to jump ahead and give them a grade of a B+.
You know what? I'll agree with you with a B+ because they did sign the secondary striker with Laurent. The only place maybe is right wing that they could have improved, but Son's coming back. But I really think that one of the center backs will not be returning to Tottenham next season.
Who do you think?
Alderweireld.
Yeah, he's quality, man.
Bigger, better things.
Yeah, he's quality, dude. It's only a matter of time before the world wakes up to this guy. I think someone should have come in this summer. I don't think Tottenham would have sold him, but a team like, Arsenal should have just thrown him. Well, not Arsenal because you're rivals.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
we did it with Sol Campbell. We did it with Sol Campbell, and we took him.
That's true.
But that was a different era in Arsenal's history.
Yeah, all right, shut up, us.
Tom, what are you giving for a grade, bro?
I give them a B, just because I think they could have done more. I know, some Spurs fans, they seem to be a little bit more ambitious in the club, and I know they have a solid base right now. But I think bringing in potentially another guy who's going to push Moussa Dembele in the center of the park.
How are you picking on that guy?
No, I love him, man. I honestly respect his game, but just bringing in another guy in case he gets hurt, we know between him and Wanyama, someone's going to get a red card. You know what I mean? So you're bringing in Harry Winks off the bench, who he's shown some bright sparks, but it's like the depth. That's the thing with the Spurs. It's depth. So if Christian Eriksen goes down, what do you do now? Now you're in trouble. So even if they brought in a guy like Sigurdsson or just someone of that kind of quality who could have pushed someone else for a center, Ross Barkley. Bring in Ross Barkley. Now I'm looking at him like, okay, I'm gonna give you a B+, but solid B for Spurs. Good window, address their weaknesses.
Nice. All right, let's get into the other London rival, Chelsea. Man, I think they cocked up the business this summer. They go from champions and having all that clout. They have the money as well, and I think they have a mediocre window, man. I don't think they needed much strengthening, but I think they needed depth and they needed competition in certain positions, and I don't think they addressed that.
Really?
Yeah.
How so? Where else could they have improved?
I think in the forward position, yes, they brought in Morata, but I don't think that's an improvement because if Morata goes down, you get Batshuayi, a guy who's still trying to find his feet. I think Batshuayi over time will be good, but I don't think Batshuayi, even though he scored the trophy-winning goal last season, I don't think he's a guy who's going to show up to give you those 15 goals you need from your other forward. Your midfield, you get rid of Matic. Sure, you have Kante in there. Bakayoko looks like he's going to be the real deal, but again, he's an untested dude, young cat. I don't know if he's going to have the big stage blues. Excuse that pun. And then that back line, for me, man, I think just having one more stud defender back there to compete, to keep David Luiz on his toes, to keep Cahill on his toes, maybe keeping a guy like Zuma, someone who's going to push them to compete. I think that's what Chelsea's going to be lacking, man. I think off the bench, they don't have a lot of pressure coming off the bench.
Isn't it? Well,
yeah,
he is more of a right back.
Yeah. I mean, that center back position. The wing backs are solid, man. As much as, what's his name, Alonso's not my kind of guy, I can't sit here and pretend he's not a stud for them. Moses, sure, he used to be a forward / right winger / right mid, and now he's a right wing back. I think he's great in that position. And if you're struggling, you can always put Ajbi out there at his natural position. So I think at the fullbacks, they're fine. At the wingers, they're fine with Pedro, Willian, Hazard. But I think that spine, they didn't address that spine, right?
Man, I completely disagree with that. I think the media, in part, is responsible for this kind of shade that's come over Chelsea and then having like a bad window. When I look at the signings they made, they did address their spine. Okay, Willy Caballero from Man City, not the biggest deal, but you get rid of Begovic, you bring in another experienced goalkeeper. Look at Antonio Rudiger. To me, he might be one of the most low-key signings of the window. Very athletic type of center back who's a German national team starter. I think he's adapted well so far. And I think that is the guy to push David Luiz. When Gary Cahill comes back from a suspension, I see Azpilicueta, David Luiz, and Gary Cahill starting, and Rudiger kind of being that guy off the bench to push either one of those guys for their spots. Don't forget, they can always recall Kurt Zuma from the loan, right? So they did the same with Nathan Ake last year. They can do the same thing. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just something to keep in mind. As well as, okay, now we move into the center midfield department. So we've just covered the goalkeeper, center back. Now center midfielder, Bakayoko. You agreed? You think he could be the real deal? I think he looks good so far. Yes, he still has to adapt to the league, but a very, 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 very talented player who's on the French national team bubble at only 23 years of age. I mean, the kid can be something special. Alvaro Morata now. I mean, the guy did at Juventus, Real Madrid, and he wasn't starting. We still need to see what he's going to do when he's starting. He started maybe slow in terms of like the first 1 or 2 games, but ever since, man, he's gotten a goal and assist. He's been on fire. I think Chelsea, I'll give him an A-, especially with bringing back in a young guy like Charlie Musonda. They make a transfer deadline day signing of Zappacosta. It's like, where else do you add to this team? You just need Eden Hazard to come back. I think there's been a little bit of a panic here going on because they didn't get the biggest of names, but I do think they addressed their weaknesses and they directly addressed their spine, which will make them stronger.
All right, I'm going to go on a little bit of tirade because I got to leave. I'm going to be a little bit all over the place, but right now, Chelsea, give them a B+. All they had to do was not sell Matic and not disrupt the relationship that they have with Costa, and then not give out Zuma on loan. If you keep those 3 dudes and bring in the other people, even get rid of Batshuayi. If you keep those 3 guys, this team seems like they're going to win the league again and make a huge push in Champions League. I want to touch on something on our last episode. Jeremy Given said we talked about one of West Brom's signings. Krychowiak. I can't.
Another guy Arsenal should have signed.
But, well, 1 second. It said Krychowiak is in Sevilla's all-time starting 11. He made the last 8 with Poland and won back-to-back Europe. It's understated. You're blowing up crappy players because they play in the EPL. Will Jeremy Givens?
Yeah, I don't understand what Jeremy meant by that, man. I asked him in both my accounts. I was like, "What?" I don't understand if you're saying Krychowiak is garbage or you're saying he's good.
Yeah, well, I think he was saying that we were just talking about worse players for more time. But you have to understand that we were talking about the higher end teams. We did bring him up. We did talk about the back-to-back Europas, and he didn't play for PSG. We announced all those. I know that he's a good player, but we'll also see this year. Maybe he was just good in La Liga. There's many times that we see players go from league to league, and they just have to go back to one certain league because there's a certain style.
A perfect example is Jesus Navas.
Exactly.
Killed it for Sevilla. Killed it for Sevilla. Did nothing for Man City.
And then the last one, I'm just going to talk about Newcastle. They probably had the worst transfer market of everyone, I think. They might actually lose Benitez because he wanted some promises done, didn't get them done. He may not stay at Newcastle. They might lose the manager. And then the big transfer news that comes out of Newcastle, they send Tim Krul, who was a beast behind the post before his injury, between the posts, to their rival, Brighton. Well, not their rival, but I mean the rival for relegation. So they helped another team survive relegation, and then they get nobody? I don't understand that.
Yeah, that's bad business.
All right, so, and Dragovic. Dragovic gets to from Austria. He goes to Leicester, so I was really happy about that. There's a few more, but I'll get them later. I just got to run to do some training.
An errand. All right, Huss. Thanks for sticking around, bud. Tim and I will wrap this up. See you, bud.
Cool.
Shipoo.
Oh, yeah, right. Get out of here.
All right, Tom. So we'll pick up back with Chelsea, man. To your point, look, I understand what you're saying, Bakayoko, all these guys. My point is, if they get 2 injuries in that position, you know, let's say they get Cahill suspended again for another red card and Rudiger's out. Now you're going to have to shuffle and play this weird moving around. The fact that they needed to move David Luiz into D-mid, they didn't need to do that at all last year. You know why? Because either Matic or Kante could play that position, or Fabregas, depending what you wanted. They had a healthy rotation in there. Now I understand.
Matic loss is that's probably the biggest thing.
That's what's killing me. Matic and Diego Costa, bro. Matic, the 2 guys who were instrumental to their winning season, they lost. And that's why, to me, they don't get an A, you know, because they lost the 2 guys that could have helped them go back to black. You know what I mean? So, yes, they definitely did make signings, man. I don't want to sit here. You're right. And maybe I gassed it up too loud, or maybe I came in too aggressive. But you look at the first 3 games of the season, the team is still, you know, wobbly feet, and that's okay. They were wobbly feet last year until mid-September when they played Arsenal. But it's for a season where Pep Guardiola looks like he has his formula, for a season where Jose looks like he has his formula, I think Conte, and the hardest thing to do is to go back-to-back in the Premier League, because now everyone's preparing and waiting for you, you know, licking their chops is going to play out. I don't know if they made the right signings to ensure them a serious title contention. They definitely will be title contenders, though. You can't write Chelsea off.
See, I do, and I think people are really overlooking the fact that Chelsea don't even have their best player right now. They do not have they've been playing without their best player. So when Eden Hazard does return, and you know, we see that Bakayoko is fully up to speed, he was recovering from an injury. That's why I think he kind of had to put David Luiz in that role, you know, because if he's 100% healthy,
but that's a lack of depth, Tom. That's a lack of depth, is my point. Like, you got to now move center backs into D mid. You're looking like Man United last year. You know, like, you should have it.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I think there's more of a prediction thing, but I do not think Chelsea's going to repeat by any means. But I just think that people are overreacting a little bit.
Yeah, I'll give him a B. You gave him an A-. I'll give him a B. That's solid business for Chelsea. Let's get into Man City, a team that I was expecting big things from, big signings, shake the world up, maybe even go for Messi. Didn't quite pan out. Still had a solid window, though. Man City, what do you think?
They got an A. Not an A+. The Alexis Sanchez would have been an A+. That would have been a cherry on top. That would have shifted the favorites. I think the favorites right now are Man United. If they get Alexis Sanchez, all of a sudden you're looking at Manchester City as the absolute favorites. They addressed every single one of their weaknesses. They brought in a goalkeeper, 3 fullbacks. They brought in 3 fullbacks. We're lamenting, oh, Zabaleta, Clichy look old. Kolarov looks old. What's going on? All these guys are slow. Bring in Benjamin Mendy, Kyle Walker from Arrival, and Danilo from Real Madrid.
It's brilliant.
Absolute class players. You have Company now who's bouncing back. So that's the only part where I'm looking at. I'm like a little bit iffy on him.
If he stays healthy, dude, I think everyone who's guessing up City to win the title, I think becomes legitimized. If he can have a good run of games, man, I'm talking like 10, 15 games.
Honestly, he's my X factor on Manchester City.
Good call.
He's my X factor because he organizes the defense. They're a different team when he's on the pitch. Him and Otamendi can actually hold things down.
Yeah.
I don't quite trust John Stones next to Otamendi yet. I think Company is the guy who can teach John Stones the way. He's honestly the John Terry of Manchester City.
He is, 100%.
I really think he'll raise John Stones if he's able to play alongside him. Now, Bernardo Silva, another quality signing. And I think they just keep adding. There's so much strength. They might be the deepest team on paper in the EPL now with the signings they've made.
See, that's why I gave Chelsea a B, man. Because, like, this is what I expected from Chelsea. You're back-to-back champions. You have the clout. You know what I mean? You just had a manager come in, and in his first try, first roll of the dice, he wins the league. You should have been making signings like the Bernardo Silvers, the Kyle Walker. I don't know, man.
But the thing is, they weren't glaring weaknesses in the Chelsea team. That's the difficult thing is when you do win the league, you look at your guys and you're like, all right, like this team, they're a team of champions. Like, so where are the weak spots? I think it's much more difficult to address your weaknesses when you become champions versus when you're not champions, because it's obvious, like, okay, this is where we suck. We need this. Versus a championship, it's like, okay, where do we improve? Because everyone's good.
But that's the art, man. That's the art of going back to back. That's why it's not a science. But you look at, man, we even talked about it on the early PFC episodes, either covering match day 1 or 2, where we were like, what happened to Chelsea's depth, dude? You look at that bench. They had guys like Musonda coming off the bench. They also have that African dude. I forget his name. But he played a lot. Yeah, man. So, like,
the 35, the 33, that young guy.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks very good. But, like, that's my point, man, is that Man City's bringing off Bernardo Silva off the bench. When we looked at that Chelsea team in match day 2 or 1, I should pull it up, but it would just take too long. But, guys, if you want to look up the starting lineup and you look at that depth, the bench, there was just no depth on that bench. They were bringing out, you know, guys, obscure kind of players. And
you know who we forgot to mention for Chelsea?
Who?
Danny Drinkwater.
Look.
There's a center midfielder right there.
Good. I mean, dude. I mean, Tom, let's get serious, bro.
A-.
Let's get serious, bro. Danny Drinks.
PFC all name team.
You see,
champion.
You're
him and Conte again. Him and Conte can't even give you like, okay, individually. Him and Conte are back. They're back to black. Come on, bro. Danny Drinks.
Don't try to get me excited about Danny Drinks, man. I'm in the Pogba realm, the Mkhitaryan, the Ander Herrera, the Bernardo Silva.
Add him in there, bro. Add Danny Drinks in there.
Drinks is great for depth, man. If Fabric goes out, you put Drinks in there. But I don't know if you're playing Champions League, if Danny Drinks is going to be that dude who says, all right, put it on my shoulders. I got you. That's what you need from this Chelsea team. And that's what Man City has done brilliantly is that, man, you're in the Champions League. David Silva's hurt. Maybe De Bruyne is hurt. Put it on Bernardo Silva's shoulders, dude. He's got us. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what I expected from Chelsea. I gave him a B, bro.
What about Christensen coming back, too? They got the young
I saw him got roasted, bro. Christensen got destroyed in either match day 1 or 2.
I'm telling you, I think people are gassing this Chelsea win. But all right, back to Man City.
Yeah, let's go Man City.
I think they have Ilkay Gundogan coming back now. Very sneaky fantasy guy. 5.5 million. Keep your eye out for him.
Yeah.
Ilkay Gundogan. David Silva's been playing ever since he shaved his hair, man. This guy, him and Pep, it's like coach the player on the field. That little they're telepathic almost. And I like what I'm saying. Leroy signing Raheem Sterling.
Scary, dude.
Yeah.
Scary.
He's balling now. 2 goals in the past 2 weeks. We did hear of him potentially making that swap deal to Arsenal, but honestly, this Manchester City team, I think they're the second favorites. You know how Mourinho does in that second year.
Definitely.
So that's really it.
Yeah, they made fantastic signings. I'm kind of jealous, man. Even Danilo, everyone's bitching about Danilo. Was he worth it? Is he the real deal? Man, you can never have too much talent from Real Madrid. Whether he started or not, he's used to the big stage. He's used to training with big names. He's not going to be
left back, right back.
Exactly. He's not going to be nervous in those big games, and he speaks Spanish, so Pep can get through to him easier. You know, so I think Man City might have done the best business of the window. I love my club, but I think Man City's A+, man. I don't see anywhere. Maybe they could have brought in an additional defender, a center back to cover, but
that would be it. That's why I'm not giving him the plus. But even then, it's picky. It's a little nitpicky.
Yeah, they killed it. So you're giving him the A.
I'll give him the A.
God damn it, Man City. Killing the business, Pep. Let's get into the other Manchester rivals, Man United.
I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this.
Look, I think my team is in a fine balance, dude. I think we could have used 1 or 2 more signings, especially in that winger position, just to send us over the edge. I know you and I were talking about Perisic, how he would be that dude to like the tipping point, you know, and I wish we got him for security, just to be like, all right, like we have Perisic. We know what this dude's about. He's a big stage player. He's carried Croatia for years now. He's been in Italy doing his thing quietly, surprisingly. I don't know why people haven't come for him sooner. But
you guys had that transfer saga with them. It was like the price started around the 30s, bumped up to the 40s, and Inter wanted 50 plus for him. And you guys, I think, were just like, no.
Well, you know what also hurt that deal, man, is freaking Martial coming off the bench, scoring twice, and looking like his old self, his first season self. So that's what I think kind of squashed the desperation of that deal. Because originally there were talks of Martial going as a swap deal, you know, a loan swap deal. To Inter. So he was the issue, and him scoring those goals and playing well kind of forced Perisic's move to be shelved.
So you might not need him then, Perisic, that is.
I think if we had Perisic, I'd give United a better grade because Martial is still young, man. We forget he's young. Rashford's still young. These kids are exciting. It's great. But when you're playing freaking Juventus in the Champions League quarterfinal, is Martial going to be mature enough to step up and take over?
Getting ahead of ourselves, are we? Quarterfinals.
You know it, bro. Already hint. But yeah, man. So I'm happy with United business. I'm gonna give him a B+ because of the Zlatan signing on top of that. But if we didn't sign Zlatan, we signed Lindelof, a guy who needs time to develop, a youngster center back. I think he's going to be good. But again, he's a guy I think we're
23 years old.
Yeah, we're bringing him in to start, and he got exposed a couple of times, and Mourinho's giving him a little timeout. So Jones
can get roasted, bro. He's not. He needs his positioning and his reading of the game, I think, needs to improve a little bit because sometimes he finds himself on an island where he can get burned. So that's where he needs to improve.
So that's that Portuguese league. He's going to need to realize EPL's faster, more powerful players. You can't really get yourself caught in an island. Everything's about positioning and waiting for help. Romelu Lukaku, hands down, best signing for United. I know Matic, there's a lot of talk. Romelu Lukaku, the most important thing about a championship run is scoring goals. Sure, defense is important, man, but you don't score goals, you get draws or losses. So you need a guy who's going to come in and give you 20 to 25. That's how you establish a championship run. Excellent 100%. Signing. Matic, man, oh man, talk about the key to Pogba. Him and Pogba should be best friends. Never mind Romelu Lukaku and Pogba. Pogba and Matic. Pogba should be paying for Matic's dinner every single night, man, because he's going to be unlocked to do whatever he wants. Matic comes in and sends Anda straight to the bench, potential United captain, straight to the bench. Goes to show you how quality this guy is. And I don't mind Anda on the bench.
Nah, it's just a way better balance, man, honestly.
Much better.
It's way better balance. I think under Herrera, he's that center midfielder, box to box, but you kind of
It's
have that in
different.
Pogba. You know, you have a more stylish, sleek car in a guy like Pogba, where Herrera, he was that A to B kind of guy. You know,
You know
he'll
what?
get you there.
Herrera is that reliable Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla.
But
You
he's
know, maybe
like that street Honda. You know what I mean? He's got the body kit on it.
yeah, the
You know,
sports edition
yeah,
Camry.
might have a little spoiler on there. You know, a
Yeah,
little bit more horsepower than you think is in the hood, but
but he's
it's
no
just
Maybach.
no, it's just not that, not yet at least.
Yeah, and I
Look,
love him.
what grade?
Right.
What grade did you say you'd give Man United?
I give Man United B plus, B plus, man. I love my team, but I'm gonna go B plus because I think one more like stud signing, like a name to carry this team. We got the youngsters, we got the guys coming through. That's not a problem. But if
Spoiled brat.
it's not spoiled, man. I've seen championship teams, and this is a championship team if the key players stay healthy. If Matis go down, I'm gonna be a nervous pile of bricks. If Pogba goes down, nervous pile of bricks.
Wow, you got Fellaini.
Lukaku. I'm gonna breeze by that one. Lukaku goes down, I'm a nervous pile of bricks. So that's what I mean. Where, you know, David Silva goes down, plug in Bernardo Silva. Company goes down. Okay, you got Stones and Otamendi. Yeah, so like
everyone's like that, man. Everyone is like that. Where if you lose the X factor, it's not gonna win, man. Lukaku, I give Man United an A minus. All right, I give you guys an A minus. I think the Perisic deal really would have put you at an A, but I have to look at the Lukaku signing. Very, very serious, ambitious signing. I didn't think you were going to get him. I thought he was going to go to Chelsea. I was very surprised when he came to Manchester United. The Matic deal, I did not think would be this impactful. I was kind of like brushing Matic off to going towards Arsenal. I was like, wow, he's taking Chelsea scraps. This guy's not a scrap. He's the real deal.
Yes,
and he's Mourinho's boy. Oh yeah, him and Mourinho, you know how they do. They love each other. But on top of this Zlatan signing, now you've confirmed Zlatan's actually coming back. I mean, this is ridiculous. You retain Martial, what looked like a very, very, dicey situation with Martial. Yeah. Is he going to go to Sevilla permanently? Is he going to go on loan maybe? What's going to happen there? Lindelof, solid signing. I'm not convinced. The only thing I didn't like was you guys sending out your boy Pereira on loan. I thought that could have been a guy who, in the EFL Cup, FA Cup, you would have saw his development, maybe if an injury to Mata, which I think is inevitable. Mata getting injured at some point this season. Maybe you inject him into the game and you see that little bit of extra creative flair. That's the only knock that I'll give you. But other than that, Man United, A- this window. You guys got your business done early. That was the thing that I was most impressed by. And it's no surprise that, Jose, I know you guys, is it David Gill, the guy he's working with?
No, it's David Gill was Fergie's guy. This is Ed Woodward.
Ed Woodward. I know we were getting that one up, me, but
I was.
You and Al, we're getting that Ed Woodward a little bit, the money man, like, hey, what's going on? I think he's done a pretty good job, this all in all, and in terms of getting it done relatively early. You guys weren't one of those teams who were biting your fingernails on transfer deadline day.
You know why, man? Why? You know why? It's simple. There's just one guy who changed all that, Jose Mourinho. I don't know what kind of power he has, what kind of influence he has, but when he wants his signings, he gets his signings. He did the same thing at Chelsea, did the same thing at Madrid. As long as the club has money, his business is usually done by the end of June. And these guys get a full preseason in, and he's off and running in that second year. And that's why United is killing it, man. He got his signings in
because
early.
He's reasonable. I think he'll give you four to five names, and I think he's pretty reasonable. Like, this is who we need. This is why. Get them, And there's always usually one major signing, and then there's all the rest of them are typically defensive guys. Yeah,
man. Great business by United. Great business, especially with that Zlatan coming through.
Fucking Arsenal, dude. How are we the only ones who get below a C? The only ones who fail.
It's terrible, man. Big club blues. Let's jump around now. Any other major signings going on around the EPL? What you got for me?
Renato Sanchez to Swansea.
Dog.
That is the shock. That is the steal of the window. We'll see how he does. I'm hoping he's worth $5 million in fantasy. I'm picking him up as soon as he's in there. Renato Sanchez, I don't think he'll be banging in goals necessarily, but you'll be seeing full 90s from this guy. I think he'll be getting you a couple extra bonus points, and I really think this is the best league in the world.
Right.
I agree to your hypothesis. It's like have a guy like Renato Sanchez come to Swansea, who's in a relegation battle.
It's insane, Doug. How did Swansea even swing that business?
I don't know. I don't know if they have some sort of connection there with
Right.
Clement. He was an Ancelotti guy, so maybe there was a little bit of something there. But either way, man, like he's playing for Swansea City, dude.
That's crazy.
I could have used him at Arsenal. What's going on?
I could have used him at United just for shits and giggles, just to have a dude there, developing in the background, getting him ready for 4 years from now. He's going to take over the world. But no, look, at least at Swansea, dude, he'll get maximum development as far as playing time. Now, playing around players of that caliber and being around that setting of like relegation and going into games thinking of the other team's tactics before yours, I don't know if that's going to help his tactical side or his mental side as far as, becoming a big stage player. But I think it'll be healthy for him to play 90 and struggle a bit in Wales. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Up in Wales. I have not so much a transfer one, but just a breaking story this morning. Wayne Rooney charged with drinking and driving.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, not great at all. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that, being as though he is ex-Man United.
Look, man, Rooney's always been a partier. Over the years, pictures have surfaced of him getting after it. He's a Liverpool boy. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed because he's having such a rejuvenation to his career. He's home. But I don't have the full story. I don't know if he was really hammered or he had 2 beers. You know what I mean? So
is this part of falling off? Like, is this? I know he's been charged with it. I just want to, is this part of falling off at all?
Look, I think this is part of him winding his career down a bit. But who knows? Maybe he did the same thing at United, dude. And just never got caught. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So either way, man, I want to be clear. It's wrong. I don't think you should ever drink and drive, even if, let's say the limit is 2 and you have 3. We all know on average, you're not getting hammered off 3 beers, but the rules are the rules. The law is the law. He broke it. It's disappointing. Luckily, it's during a international window. So, it won't affect the locker room. Yeah, it'll die down by the time the guys get back. So hopefully he's okay for it, man. But yeah, I don't support that kind of stuff. But I'm not surprised, man. Rooney's been known to be a bit of a partier.
Yeah, a bit. Understatement
just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit.
I mean, the other thing that I have is the Premier League spent. I mean, they broke the record in terms of the amount of money spent the summer window. It's hit 1.413 billion pounds. That's a joke, man. There are countries who don't make that much money. It's pretty ridiculous.
That's a great way to put it, man. There are countries who don't have that kind of GDP, and these motherfuckers are swapping a bunch of athletes who kick balls into goals. That's crazy.
It's insane. And for Arsenal to make a profit during that just says a lot.
That's great.
Says a lot about the ambition of the club. Well done, Kroenke. Well done, Stan Kroenke. You made yourself some more money. So now you can feed the LA Rams and what other ventures you have going on in America.
Dude, Everton also quiet. Oh, I take that back, man. Loud transfer season. Let me count the players they have coming in. This might take a while, guys. So you might want to go take a bathroom break, get yourself a water. They bring in Jordan Pickford, Davy Klaassen, Nathangelo Markello, Henry Onyekuru, Sandro Ramirez, Michael Keane, Boris Mathis, and Anton Donkor, Josh Bowler, Wayne Rooney, Cuco Martina, Lewis Gibson, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Dennis Aiden Iron, and Nikola Vlasic. I mean, how many names is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
More than
7,
10.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players, and they didn't break the bank for these 15. Koeman, my theory, man, like I said a few years ago with Pochettino coming up at Tottenham, that he's going to be one of the best tactical managers.
Hey.
He's going to be one of the best tactical managers in the world. I think Koeman is going to be one of the best talent developing managers in the world, man.
But is this like a whole lot of swinging at air? Is this just like you're just swinging and not hitting anything, or are there going to be some hits here?
I think there are definitely going to be some hits here. Maybe not this season. I think he's buying long term. First of all, he's Dutch, raised in the Barcelona system. So he, as far as talent development, that's what Barcelona has always focused on first, internal talent development, and then they look out to buy. So I think the guys he's bringing in are not big names. Some of those names I couldn't even pronounce, never heard them before. But those are the guys who all of a sudden are going to come on next season, and you're going to be like, wow, who's that guy? Who's Lookman? You know what I mean? We saw Lookman kind of popping last season. Like, oh, look at that
young Englishman, man. They got lots of good young English talent coming through.
We're like, look at that guy with the weird name, Lookman. Then all of a sudden, he's in the Euros, what was it, U20 Euros, scoring match winners. So I think it's those type of signings where, all right, he made 13 signings. Tell me, even if 5 pan out, dog, even if 5 pan out and become starters, I think this is a great transfer window. For a team like Everton, obviously the United, the top 6 clubs can't really afford to spray and pray like this. But a team like Everton, who needs new energy, who still had players who were playing for David Moyes in the team, I think this is healthy competition. 13 players in, and obviously not all of them are going to be first team players. Some of them are going to go straight to reserve. Some of them are going to go to the youth setup. But just breathing that life of energy, bro. You know, if Koeman's bringing these kids in, there's something about him. They might not pan out, but I don't think he's just bringing in garbage just to bring in garbage.
I agree, man. I agree. I think Everton had a good window. I saw like some random articles today saying they had a bad window. That's why I wanted to raise the question of just kind of swinging at air.
Yeah.
But
look, I think people don't recognize these names, so they just assume these are randoms. But man, they scout these plays. They have scouts, they have reports, they have highlights, and that doesn't mean these guys are going to pan out. I want to be clear in saying that, but
it's all potential.
Koeman's a guy who popped Mane, who popped a few guys at Southampton. I think he's a great talent developer, man. I think some of these guys, we're going to hear their names even this year.
Dude, and then like just a couple of weird things that happened transfer deadline day. Ross Barkley pulling a U-turn at his medical for Chelsea. Then Riyad Mahrez as well. A little bit of a U-turn. I guess he was on Algerian national duty. Somehow he like flew back or something like that. I thought he was going to Arsenal.
He was given permission to fly back to go handle a deal. So everyone thought, okay, wherever he's landing.
Man United, Barcelona, Arsenal, Chelsea, like all these names out there, nothing. Absolutely
man.
Nothing.
I wonder what happened. I wonder where he flew to from Algeria, because he was given permission to leave to go handle personal business. So I wonder where he flew to and what happened. I'm sure that story will come out over the next few days as to what happened to Riyad Mahrez's transfer saga. But that Ross Barkley thing, man, that's another shot to Chelsea, bro. This dude showed up, looked around at the walls, and was just like, yeah, I'm not about this life.
Too blue in here for me.
Yeah, I'm going back to my version of blue.
Tell you, Danny Drinks. You saw Danny Drinks. He was like, I can't compete. I can't compete with this guy.
Chelsea signing guys like Danny Drinks. Oy. I mean, that was a little harsh on Danny Drinks, but I'm just saying, I don't know if this dude's winning your Champions League.
He's winning you an EPL title, tell you that.
Fluke year when Arsenal decided not to show up, let everyone down. But that Kelechi Iheanacho signing, man, so happy for Iheanacho. Hopefully he can break into this team. So far he hasn't had much success, but it's understandable in that the old faithful Vardy and Okazaki have started off hot. So it's up to him, man. It's up to him to break into a club. Tell me you kind of got your wish in that, you know, he's no longer at a big club, sort of rotting away Batshuayi style.
Yep.
He's at a small club, but you forget, man, you got to fight for that position. And hopefully he still has enough fight in him. He
got injured early. The starting spot was his. It was given to him as soon as he got there. Got a little bit banged up. couldn't play, and Okazaki, he's stolen his spot so far. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know Huss loves Okazaki, but hopefully he does not keep scoring. You know, I got to go with my boy Kelechi and
Haters
Nacho.
go hate. Haters go hate.
Hey, man, the boy's clinical. Him and Vardy, I think, would be a good tandem as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. Dude, another secret signing by not secret, but like underground signing by Newcastle. For me, man, I think this guy Chelsea were crazy to let him go. But I understand why with the squad they have. Christian Atsu, man, the Ghanaian. This guy has been so dynamic for Newcastle. Got himself an assist on match day 3. I think he's that dude that Newcastle's going to turn to out there on that wing, and he's going to carry them, dude. Great signing by them.
All the way to relegation. Yep. There. I think he'll have a good season, man, but I don't think he's ready to carry anyone.
Fair enough, man. And a team that struggled, actually, I think had a rough transfer window, Southampton. Bringing in the new manager, only managed to bring in 4 other players, all no names. A guy from Lech Poznan. If you don't remember that club, that's the club, I think it's in Poland. And their celebration when their team scores, all the fans turn away from the stadium, so facing the rafters, and they all link up arms and they all jump up and down and they shake the freaking stadium. So they call that the Poznan. And they did it, I think, 3 years ago when they were playing Man City in the Champions League group stage. And then all of a sudden, the Man City fans started doing the Poznan as well. It was almost like a Mexican wave. Like everyone was like, forgot that they were rivals. Everyone just linked up and started jumping up and down. So that's that Poznan pickup. His name is Jan Bednarek. Then they got Mario Lemina from Juventus. Solid signing, that one, actually. And then Jack Rose, who was a free agent, and then Wesley Hote from Lazio. Like, I don't know, dude. Like,
Lamina's the only guy I know, bro.
That's it. So,
Lamina's the only guy I know.
For a team that's rebuilding, dude, new manager, I thought there'd be more moves. I thought they would have made like Koeman type moves, where you bring in like 12 guys, fresh blood. But maybe they're waiting for next season. Let Pellegrino settle down. But so it's a weird window for Southampton.
It's a weird one, man.
Stoke City. Oh my bad.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Stoke City bringing in Darren Fletcher. That was one of their major ones. They secured Kurt Zuma on loan, which is also a massive signing for them. Hussey on loan as well from Paris Saint-Germain, and a permanent deal for Kevin Wimmer. I think Stoke City, again, Tony Pulis. This is all solid pieces that he's gonna be able to.
Marquise, you mean?
Plug in. Marquise. Marquise is going to be literally able to plug in and use.
Yeah, I mean,
just solid.
Stoke is Stoke. I hate Stoke as an Arsenal fan. Yeah, but they had a better window than us. They had a better window than us.
That's not saying much. Oh, and they made permanent the Martins Indy deal. Bruno Martins Indy's permanently there now, so not bad. Swansea brought in a bunch of no names. They also brought in Bonnie as well on a permanent deal. Obviously, Renato Sanchez, we talked about on loan. A guy I'm kind of excited to see back in the Premier League, Sam Klukas, the ginger from Hull City. I think he's good, man. He's good for Swansea. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's going to be anything special, but he's one of those journeyman kind of players. Works hard in that midfield, strong physique. Every once in a while will get you that box-to-box type goal. I think it helps shore up that midfield with Leroy Fair being in and out of the squad.
Dude, are you going to go over Brighton, Hove, and Albion signings too? God damn, man. These are like the worst teams right now.
Man, but look, I'm just wrapping up the Premier League. We're not going to get into Brighton. I was just touching on some of these teams. You know,
the raw-ass teams right now. Lucas, yeah, word. Lucas going to be all right. Lucas going to suck, man.
Dude, don't sleep on my boy Kluk. Don't sleep on my boy Kluk, bro.
I'm sleeping hard, man. Yeah, who Brighton, Hove, and Albion side, bro?
Look at you, snobby over there. Brighton Hove is doing more work than your Gooners, all right? Don't sleep on these Brighton Hove.
It's a marathon, man. It's not a sprint. That's all I got to say.
All right, Watford. Watford.
Oh, my God.
Marco Silva, Tom Cleverley, solid signings. Sabari for Watford. West Brom. Jay Rodriguez, a guy who had big promise, didn't live up to it, but he goes to West Brom to revive.
Scored like this past week.
Yeah, Higazi obviously looks like he might be the real deal. Dude, Higazi from Al Ali. Remember that team, bro?
Yeah, bro, I love Al Ali, man.
Al Ali, legendary team. And then Gareth Barry, solid signing. Gibbs and Krakowiak. I understand how they got Krakowiak. That's like a Sanchez deal. Sanchez to Swansea deal. I think he's much better than West Brom. Should have gone Everton, that maybe even
Tony
West
Pulis.
Ham. Yeah,
Tony Pulis shoring up the defense, as if the defense wasn't already savage.
right. And the West Ham, lastly, bro, we got Zabaleta, Joe Hart, Arnautovic, and Javier Hernandez, and then a random no-name dude. And they're still struggling. Looks like Bilic, I think, is odds-on favorite. I looked up like a week ago, and he was odds-on favorite to be the first manager to lose his gig.
Yeah. The ball is right there. Frank de Boer is right there for Palace.
It's scary, man. It's scary when the season starts. A lot of these managers are like, all right, get your energy up. I'm ready to go. It's going to be a long season. And before you know it, bro, they're looking down the barrel of a shotgun 3 games into the league.
That's rough. You want to talk about pressure? 3 games.
That's crazy.
3 games.
All right. Anything else, man? Seeing that you're tired of me wrapping up the Brighton Holes,
yeah, man.
Watford's, the West Ham. Go ahead, bro.
Talk about Monaco making a sneaky signing Lazio forward Keita Bolde. I think this guy's going to be a quality player. Again, they lose guys. They always seem to replace them with talent. They're like, I don't even want to call them the Southampton of France. The way they're able to replace, they're the Dortmund. They're basically the Dortmund of France. They recruit young players. They bring them in. I do think they are a selling club. But if you're able to develop talent like Mbappe and all these guys, Benjamin Mendy, Bernardo Silva, I think you'll always have a place amongst Europe.
Those 3 guys are going to be able to fund transfers for the next, 5-6 seasons, maybe even 10 if they're frugal with their money. Just Mbappe alone can fund them for 5 years. You know,
that's sad, though, that Mbappe went to a direct rival. That undermines what you want to do.
But I don't know if it's sad, man. I don't know if it's sad, or is it like
if I'm a Monaco fan. Yeah, if I'm a Monaco fan, I'm sad. That's all I mean is that, like, if you won the league the past year, Neymar moves to PSG, and Neymar's like, hey, come on over here, bud. Come on over here. He goes over to PSG, and it's like that's your prized possession, you know?
Bro, but I think the fans are used to it. I think it's like Dortmund fans. I think they know when Bayern Munich comes knocking, we can't even be mad at our club for answering the door. It's not like Mbappe left and went to Lyon or Marseille. Like, he went to Bayern Munich of France. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that Bayern Munich happens to have the next best player in the world. So I agree with you, man. I think, yeah, sure, the fans are sad, but I think they're not as sad as, let's say, an Arsenal fan if they lost Alexis Sanchez, because you've never historically been a selling club. Yeah, I give you shit, and I say you sell a lot of your players, but Arsenal's not a selling club per se. You know, you don't develop talent to sell them. Monaco, that's always been their blueprint. We develop talent, they get good, we sell them. Even if we win the league, sure, we enjoy, the success of that. But even right after they won the league, they were never trying to build on this. They weren't talking about big name signings.
Yeah, remember that Falcao and all these guys.
I'm saying, like, they had every excuse after they won the league to rebuild and, like, bring in bigger names. Go to Juventus or go to Bayern Munich and say, hey, Douglas Costa, come over, we're building something. Guys off that level, that not necessarily go after Neymar or top level, but, like, guys who can ball and build that team. As soon as the league was over, bro, they started selling the parts. And that's just who they are. That's who they've always been. That's who every club in France has always been, except PSG. Even when Lyon was just winning over and over and over and over, having their run in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, they would sell players to different clubs. The Juventus of the world, the Bayern Munich. So even then, the champions of France were selling club. So look, it is what it is. It's the reality, man. Leicester, they won the league. They're selling off players. Monaco, they could have, honestly, Tom, to your point, they could have made noise, man. They could have really, if they held on to their talent, they could have ran the league or at least given PSG a run for 2-3 seasons, and then reality would have kicked in.
Because they don't need the money right now. They're in good financial standing,
and they never have psychological. Needed the money. Yeah, they never have needed the money. Their owner is an oil billionaire. So yeah, it's psychological, man. It's the goal of the club. That's what it comes down to. What is the goal? Is the goal to be the best club in France, or is it to develop talent and sell it?
Next one to go is going to be that right back, Sidibe. France has absolutely destroyed Holland 4-0. Yeah, Kevin Strootman got a red card, but like Thomas Lemar banged in 2 goals. Mbappe got a goal. Sidibe got that assist to him. That's like,
Yeah.
Griezmann scored, but like out of the 4 goals, 3 of them were from Monaco guys.
Yeah.
So
it's legit, man. That team next summer is going to get broken apart, especially if they choke the season. Like if they finish.
They got busted wide open this summer, so it's done next summer.
Yeah. Thomas Lemar and all those guys. What else you got for me, homie?
Nope, nothing else, man. That's it. I'm sure that there's so many transfers, honestly, that go on. So, I mean, some fans might be like, hey, you guys didn't touch on this guy, you didn't touch on that guy. Obviously, you know, we're heavily EPL focused, but there were some other signings that did occur. That
let's get in.
Sure
let's get into Huddersfield real quick. You don't want to get into Huddersfield,
this dude, Professor X, trying to get into Professor X's team.
No, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. We'll post the wrap up on our Facebook and in the show notes of this episode. If you scroll down, you'll see a link to all the Premier League transfers that happened. We didn't want to bore you. Apparently, I bored you going through a bunch of them. Talking about Watford, Swansea picking up Sam Klukas. Watch out for that name. He's on the watch list.
Yeah, he better be on your fantasy team.
No, don't take it that far, bro.
Okay.
It's on my watch list, though.
Shitty ass watch list that.
Appreciate you guys checking out our transfer day wrap up. We'll be back with the show in a couple weeks. We're going to take international break off. It's really no point getting into it this early. I know
Doesn't everyone hate the international break anyways?
It's terrible. It's such a cock block, dude.
Yeah, it disrupts league life and all that's going on.
And players get injured on international duty, and it's too early, man. 3 games in, but whatever. They got to squeeze in the games, and at least the World Cup qualifiers. So if you guys haven't been checking them out, check out the highlights. We'll put together our newsletter and throw in highlights in there. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, the link is right below this video, again, in the show notes. Make sure you check it out. Get yourself in there. We deliver highlights from all around the world straight to your email. Don't have to go YouTube searching full matches, all those places. They all get there. And it's international too, so we cover PSG in there. We'll have PSG highlights every single week. So you can watch Neymar every single week do work. We'll have Juventus, obviously Real Madrid, Barcelona, and obviously every single EPL team. So for sure, sign up for that newsletter. Get all your highlights. We'll help you keep up with everything in the world. We do it. We've been doing it for years anyway. So for us, it's just a matter of giving you what we would be doing anyway. So
it's a one-stop shop, basically.
One-stop shop for highlights, man, and it comes to your inbox every Monday morning, once a week. That's it. We don't inundate you with emails every single day, clogging up your inbox. We know we all hate reading emails. So once a week, we'll catch you up with everything you need to know. Sign up for our newsletter. Get that shit done.
Yeah.